You can give a bad production, but you do not damage people's memories. Somebody has to be mad and somebody has to be equally crazy to be able to support that madness, and only then something like this can happen. Film medium belongs to the director, the OTT and television belongs to the writer, and theatre belongs to the actor. Theatre is the only place that you could look something else, but you could actually be playing something absolutely different. बावला ही आदमी प्यार कर सकता है, बाकी तो आप समझौता करते हैं. If you think rationally, you'll never be able to fall in love. You will straight away get into marriage. And it also tells you in the end, is a woman who has to pay the price, and that's what Anarkali does. She pays the price for it. Salim thereafter may go and become the king and have more wives and all that, but when it comes to her, she's given up everything for love. All those who cannot stay away from the telephone should stay away from theatre. Today, language is used more to lie than to say the truth.
Welcome Firoza, welcome Kirti to After Hours sponsored by Pulse Golmol. I'm sitting here as an ardent fan of the most beautiful production that I have seen come out of India, which is Mughal-e-Azam. And I want to tell you that I've actually seen it 3 times already. And I am booked to come watch it the 4th time when you guys are in Delhi next. So now you know you're having a conversation with a genuine fan. Because each time I literally saw it 3 times in quick succession. मुझे ऐसे लगा मैंने ग्रास्प ही नहीं करा पूरा प्ले एक बारी जब मैंने देखा तो एक बारी मैंने सिर्फ लाइक बैकड्रॉप देखा, एक बारी मैंने सिर्फ डायलॉग सुने एंड आई थिंक फिर भी मुझे सब कुछ नहीं मिला. एंड आई हाउ डज इट फील टू हैव क्रिएटेड समथिंग दिस लाइक मैजेस्टिक?
I don't know. It just happened actually. Uh, you you never make something important by trying to believe that you're making something important. It doesn't work like that. You make something because something tells you that this is it's something that you want to share. And so this was actually a dream because when we used to go to Broadway and we used to watch these plays, and we used to come back very exhilarated, but at the same time slightly sad that when will we be able to do? So, what was it that was lacking? It was just technology. What was lacking with the kind of infrastructure, and what was lacking was resources and somebody actually backing it with finance. I mean, all these things are needed, and those were the things that were not there. So once we got that available, we took this leap of doing it. And honestly, this is one production that 3 days before the show opened, I almost had a nervous breakdown. I'm pretty strong, and I'm saying this not as a hyperbole, but it's purely that I felt this is the worst thing that I ever done in my life. Nothing was working. Everything was all over the place. And the fact is that this film is such an iconic film, and people have such memories attached to it that you can give a bad production, but you do not damage people's memories
Yeah.
because they are there for a very long time, and people are invested. People found a vocabulary of love through Mughal-e-Azam.
Yeah.
So now to destroy all that and to see all that was happening, and I thought I was just doing the worst thing in my life. But something happened. There's a magic of theater that on the first night we exploded on stage, and so it wasn't that it was never meant to be that long run. We thought that we'll do about 15, 20 shows, and then finally it would just sort of die and it will be over. But it's just that it just happened. We are as surprised as the audience is watching the play.
But now what? More than 275 sold out
Yes,
shows, if
we're
I'm not
closing to
mistaken.
about 300 shows now. We will be
Wow.
celebrating a 300 show in Delhi. Yeah.
That's just incredible. Kirti, how's it been for you? You are playing maybe the most iconic role ever, Anarkali.
Yeah, I mean, the experience was surreal. I mean, because Mughal Azam is not just a play; it has been, this. It has resonated with people through generations, I guess. And playing something like Anarkali was such an historic and iconic character, and it comes with so many layers. And it was not just a privilege, but a huge responsibility, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess I have put in my soul into this role, and you know I'm just very very excited about the next season that is coming up now.
या मैं तो देखने आ रही हूँ आपको 20 तारीख को बट
आप लोग हैं तो हमारा प्ले इतना चल रहा है, जो 2-3 तीन बार देखते रहती हैं, आज तो अच्छा।
हाँ
सो
बट यू नो द थिंग इज कि वही मैं बोल रही हूँ ना एक बार में आपको सब कुछ मिलता ही नहीं है मुझे ऐसे लगता है वो बार बार तो आके देखना ही पड़ता है बट सर एक बात बताओ व्हाई मुगले आजम
अ, no, it's interesting that हम लोग ये प्ले कर रहे थे, तुम्हारी अमृता,
हम्म
and we were performing in Hyderabad, and the play has Shabana Azmi and Farooq Sheikh. It's an iconic play,
हम्म
and so Mughal Azam color version
हम्म
came into being at that time. So now me and Farooq are purists. We said जो आपको ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में था, बिकॉज़ ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में जो आपके तसव्वुर में होता है, जो आपके इमेजिनेशन में होता है, अब उसको कलर से डिफाइन कर दिया, बिकॉज़ कलर डिफाइन्स। ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट इज़ वेरी इमेजिनेटिव, बिकॉज़ यू
फेयर
इमेजिन।
इनफ
सो नाउ हमने कहा कि ये कलर होगा, ये हमको नहीं देखना है। शबाना का नहीं, चलो जाके देखते हैं ना, क्या हो गया?
हाँ
तो हम रात को गए, तीनों देखा, तो एक बार फिर उसका हम पर बहुत असर हुआ, और मुझ पर ज़्यादा असर हुआ इसलिए क्योंकि मैंने बचपन में देखा था। अब पहली बार मैं देख रहा था तो उसके अलग-अलग पहलू को मैंने ज़रा बारीकी से देखा, फिर थोड़ा रिसर्च किया, और रिसर्च करने के बाद में पता चला कि इसकी बुनियाद तो थिएटर है। इट्स बेसिकली अ प्ले on which this
द
film
मूवी
was
वाज
made.
मेड या
Yeah, and K. Asif Saab had seen this play in Lahore. It was called Anarkali, and he had seen the play and it carried that script, and he wanted to do. So the structure of the film was very theatrical. The way they spoke also was rather very theatrical of that time, and it had all the elements of what you call an extravagant musical.
ऑफ
Okay,
कोर्स
so it had a great conflict, and it had the Mughal Empire, the Mughal period. So the sets, the costumes, and the possibilities of making it very, very larger than life, and some kind of an experience that you can create on stage that hasn't really happened before. So the structurally, it could be converted into a play. That is the reason. Not all films can be converted into theater. You have to be very cognizant of that. It's not a formula
या
that you pick up something successful and put it on stage is going to work. It's not that. It was a structurally a play, and also we then transitioned from there into stage, and onto the stage it was a live musical, because the film was a film. Now here we had to make it into a live musical. So when I saw that, I saw the possibility, but still it was too early, because we're talking about 2005 or something like that, and we didn't have the facilities and the money to do that. But once I got all that in place, I said, let's do it. Yeah,
कैसे पहुंचे सर कैसे मिले द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ कोर्स इज एक्सट्रीमली एक्सपेंसिव एंड द नोशन
extremely is
इज
a slight mild word.
इज
As a finance
heavily
guy,
expensive.
I think you were able
Yeah,
to notice that, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And you know the thing is, मैं मतलब we've had a conversation with so many people who do theatre, and मुझे ना कभी उसकी मैथ नहीं समझ आई है लाइक जैसे व्हेन आई गो टू सी प्लेस एंड आई सी की टिकट 500 रुपए की है और मतलब एक ऑडिटोरियम में यू नो जितने भी 50-60 लोग देखे अनलेस the play actually has famous actors who draw in crowds um फिर मुझे लगता है द मैथ इज नॉट एडिंग
No.
अप क्योंकि आपके पास ऑब्वियसली आपने वेन्यू भी बुक करा है आपने लाइटिंग भी ऑर्गेनाइज करी है साउंड भी ऑर्गेनाइज करा है एक्टर्स भी एक ऑनसॉन्ग कास्ट भी है तो ये कैसे पैसे बन रहे हैं इसमें बट इसमें तो लगाने के लिए बहुत पैसे चाहिए तो कैसे हुआ कैसे
I'm glad as I'm talking to somebody who understands math.
ये
Yeah, and I see that you're in a bit of a tizzy. Yeah. So,
No, no, I'm not in a tizzy about this
no,
because
no,
I paid very expensive prices
no,
for
no,
these
no, but
tickets.
that's right. But despite prices that you pay, Mughal Azam, every time it comes to Delhi, is actually subsidized. It makes a loss. It
Really?
does, because we'll sit on the mat.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, because it's just not possible. You have a team of 200 people traveling. There
Yeah.
is no infrastructure in that place. We have created an entire infrastructure that you see, and the technology that we have to use, the equipment that we have to use, is state of the art equipment. And then we come only for a short period of 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the most, right? So the math just doesn't work. This has to be a bit of madness. This has to be a passion to first to make it, and then there needs to be somebody who finances it.
Yeah.
And because Shapurji Palaji finances this madness, and interestingly, they did the film,
Yeah.
and they are now doing the play too. So the film took about 9 years to make, and the play is actually still running for 9 years. So it's quite ironic. Not ironic. I think it's very wonderful.
Full circle.
Yeah, it's a full circle. Yeah. In fact, we have a very lovely documentary called Full Circle
Yeah.
on the making of the play.
I've
It's
seen it.
yeah, you've seen it,
Mm.
right? So you know all that it took to do the play. So it is about these kind of things cannot happen uh, just if we look at the math. Somebody has to be mad, and somebody has to be equally crazy to be able to support that madness, and only then something like this can happen. And when you watch plays, most of them are giving a lot of themselves to be able to keep alive the live theater.
Yeah, and you know, मुझे मतलब actors के point of view से कभी समझ नहीं आया कि you're not really getting paid, and I'm not talking about this gig, but I'm saying in general. Like we were having a chat with Neil Bhupalam, and he was just like, the only money we make is like enough for like a coffee and a banana, maybe. Like,
But there's nothing, the joy for an actor is incomplete without being on stage, because, like every medium, it belongs to somebody, in the sense that we say that film medium belongs to the director, the OTT and television belongs to the writer, and theater belongs to the actor. It's an actor's medium.
that's very well said, actually. That the movie theater belongs to the
Director,
director,
yeah,
the OTT platforms belong to the writers,
yes,
and then the stage belongs to the
to the
actors.
actors. So they are, they are complete, and the kind of joy that you get, you can never experience in anything like
Yeah,
that.
because you know, even Kalki said that there's no other sort of form of expression that you thrive in more than something like this.
Absolutely, for an actor it is. And also the kind of things that we can do, though our size of the visual stage is very very small. We have, but the kind of imagination get and explode there is quite extraordinary. And that's why it's very powerful in metaphor, it's very powerful in symbolism. And for the actors, the kind of layering that they can do in theater, they can't do in any other medium, because most of the other mediums are very literal. You know what I mean? When you see a sword, you see a sword in a film, but it could be a stick that can become a sword, a chair can become a throne. That's the power of theater. And for the actors to explore the different kind of characters, we have a 5,000 years of absolutely fantastic writing. The kind of characters that the actors can really, get their teeth into is quite extraordinary. Most of the time in cinema and film, what you look is what you end up being cast. Theater is the only place that you could look something else, but you could actually be playing something absolutely different. So that power that you have in theater, you can't get in any other medium.
No, but I assume that's why people are just going on kind of continuing to invest in this art form. You know,
It's
कि
also great riyaz for the actor.
hmm,
Because for an actor, where, singers go and do their riyaz in various things, right? The music, dance. Where does an actor do the riyaz? So actually, performing in theater to
stage
me is
पे.
also great riyaz for them. And for riyaz, you don't have to then think about money. You have to do the riyaz.
Yeah. पर आपका तो मतलब सिंगिंग, एक्टिंग सबका ही एक साथ ही आई एम
Yeah.
गेसिंग रियाज़ हो रहा है थ्रू दिस प्रोसेस. व्हाट वाज़ प्रेप फॉर अनारकली लाइक?
It was very, very rigorous, I must say, because embodying Anarkali was like we had to work on the body language, the expressions, the voice modulations for that matter, because period drama hai, so it should look like something like that. And सिर्फ singing और dancing ही नहीं, मतलब singing और acting नहीं, इसमें dancing भी बहुत है, a lot of kathak and a lot of this thing is involved. So I got to learn a lot usme se, and also like as I was saying ki it's a riyaz. In fact, I would say ki it was so meditative being on stage at that time, because when you're performing, uh, you need to be so alive, you need to be completely in sync with yourself, with the character, and also with the co-actors on the stage. Because मेरा अकेले का परफॉर्मेंस नहीं
हाँ,
है कि
it's
मैं
exchange
जस्ट
of
जाके गा
energy.
एग्जैक्टली, बिकॉज देर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स हैपनिंग एट दैट मोमेंट कि आपको इतना प्रेजेंट में रहना आना चाहिए उस वक्त कि वो अपने आप में एक अलग प्रैक्टिस और एक अलग डेडिकेशन था.
So I think that this may be a point to hear a song, नहीं? आपको क्या लगता है?
नहीं, ऑफ कोर्स मैं उसके बिना तो मैं जाने ही नहीं देती आपको। मतलब मैंने आई रिमेम्बर मैंने जब ऑफ कोर्स जितने भी गाने हैं दे आर ऑल इनक्रेडिबल,
Yeah.
बट प्यार किया तो डरना क्या से तो
It's
कुछ
a
खूबसूरत गाना ही नहीं है मुझे लगता
मतलब
है।
उस टाइम पे आई थिंक इफ देयर इज एनी ऑल अबाउट ईव शुड बी टॉकिंग अबाउट
Yeah.
इज कि भाई एक कनीज
हाँ।
एक इतने बड़े शहनशाह को कहती है कि पर्दा नहीं जब कोई खुदा से बंदों से पर्दा करना क्या, टू चैलेंज हिम एंड सेज कि प्यार किया तो डरना क्या. आई मीन फॉर अ वुमन इट्स वन ऑफ द मोस्ट पावरफुल स्टेटमेंट अ वुमन हैज मेड in cinema, I think.
या बिकॉज़ अनारकली इज़ आल्सो जस्ट इनक्रेडिबली करेजियस, मतलब उसके पास
Yes.
इतनी
Yeah. Yeah.
एजेंसी है, उसको नहीं डर
Very
लगता किसी
powerful.
से
No,
कुछ
no,
बोलने
she
से।
she she's a very she actually is highly inspiring. And then again, you should know in love stories that when you are in love, death is a very small matter.
हुँ।
I mean, I'm talking about real love.
रियल लव और फेक लव में क्या फ़र्क होता है?
रियल लव फ्रैक में बिल्कुल सबको जो लव में होते हैं उनको पता चल जाता है.
पर आपने
बेसिकली होता है,
एक्सपीरियंस
सिंपल
करा
है
तो
कि आप
बताओ?
लव में है कि लस्ट में है, बिल्कुल क्लियर हो जाता है आपको.
हाँ।
तो अगर आप लस्ट में है, यू मे बी प्रिटेंडिंग टू बी इन लव, और रियल लव जो होता है, वे पीपल हु आर इन रियल लव, दैट्स व्हाई ग्रेट लव स्टोरीज आर ऑलवेज ट्रेजिक. बिकॉज अगर वो लव स्टोरीज ट्रेजिक नहीं हो, इफ सेपरेशन इज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ लव स्टोरी, देन यू मे एंड अप गेटिंग मैरिड. Now, if that's a love story, I don't know. So,
Are we saying that marriage is not the equivalent of a love story?
no, no, no. Marriage is more than love. That's the whole problem. We think that marriage is love. Marriage is more than that. It's companionship. It's many other things that comes in when you get married. You get other people in marriage also. In love, there are just two people. In marriage, there are children, there are families, there is so many, there is society and so on and so forth that comes in there, right? But when you are in love, there is nobody else except you. And that's why लोग जो है प्यार में पागल चीजें करते हैं. कोई बावला ही आदमी प्यार कर सकता है, बाकी तो आप समझौता करते हैं. यू कैन हैव अ कॉन्वर्सेशन, यू कैन प्रिटेंड लिटिल बिट, बट
Wow.
प्यार में होना जैसे पीपल इन लव डोंट कंसिडर डेथ एज एन इम्पेडिमेंट टू व्हाट दे आर डूइंग. दे चैलेंज दैट एंड यू हियर दीज स्टोरीज एंड अगेन, क्योंकि उनको लगता है इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी द क्वांटिटी ऑफ लाइफ बट द इंटेंसिटी ऑफ लाइफ दैट्स मोर इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर देम. कि लंबी जो है कहानी चले, जिंदगी भी चले नहीं,
बड़ी होनी चाहिए।
लेकिन जो जिंदगी है उसमें द इंटेंसिटी विथ विच दे लव ईच अदर, दे रेडी टू डू एनीथिंग to each for each other, to each other. That's all the great stories, whether it's Romeo Juliet, Shiri Farhad, हीर रांझा, आप सारी लव स्टोरीज देखिए उसमें.
पर आप बोल रहे हो कि बेसिकली जो मुकम्मल नहीं हुआ वही प्यार है।
बट मैं नहीं ऐसा कह रहा हूँ. मैं तो कह रहा हूँ कि ये जितनी भी आपकी लव स्टोरीज आप देखती हैं कि ज़्यादा करके सेपरेशन इज़ अ वेरी पावरफुल इमोशन देयर, सो दे राइट लव स्टोरीज ऑफ दैट काइंड. अब मिल जाना है वो अलग है. अब आई एम आई मीन इट कैन मे बी देयर इज अ लव स्टोरी वेटिंग के मिल गए और सब अच्छा हो गया, उसके बाद में भी प्यार कर रहे हैं शादी की. बिकॉज़ मैंने बहुत सारी तस्वीरें देखी हैं, शादी पे लोगों की एक तस्वीर होती है, हमेशा स्टूडियो में जाके लोग खींचा करते थे पहले,
हाँ।
एंड उसकी की 5 साल 10 साल के बाद में उनकी साथ में फ़ोटो होती है, उसको देख के आपको पता चल जाता है कि कितना, मतलब उन फ़ोटो से पता चलता है कि कितने खुश हैं वो लोग. सो आई एम नॉट एंटी मैरिज, बट आई एम जस्ट सेइंग इज़ दैट मैरिज टेक्स इट्स टोल.
It does, and I'm
या.
sure every married person agrees to the fact that marriage takes its
Marriage
toll.
takes its toll because there is so many other things, and that's why one of the problem with people thinking about marriage are two things. One, they think that it's love 24/7, 24/7, and all that is going to be like that, but it doesn't happen that way. Many other things come into play when you get married. So you get married in a more sensible way. You fall in love, being absolutely
Irrational.
irrational. Yeah. You don't
Love is
fall in love
irrational.
rationally. If you think rationally, you'll never be able to fall in love. You'll straight away get into marriage.
Now you've got the best segment of the whole this thing. Which one to
Also,
pick?
so much existentialism, no? Our conditioning is so strong that we see love as when two people spend their lives
Whole
together.
lives, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, all these. That's why when she अनारकली को ये कहना इतने बड़े शहंशाह को खड़ा होकर
Hmm.
कि प्यार किया तो डरना क्या,
Hmm.
प्यार किया कोई चोरी नहीं की,
Hmm.
चुप चुपाए भरना के, who is she to tell him that? So अब वो तो इतना बड़ा
Guts.
statement है. Yeah.
Takes
Guts.
guts.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
and in the end, if you look at it, to me, Mughal Azam is an extremely powerful woman voice, and in our version of Mughal Azam, there is a very strong woman voice. If you
Yeah.
see, Jodha stands up to him, Anarkali stands up to him, and in the end, the biggest sacrifice has been made by Anarkali.
Yeah.
She is been sent out. I mean, originally, तो उसको जो है अब उसमें दीवार में चुन दिया गया था.
Hmm.
That's the original story
Yeah.
of the play.
Yeah.
Okay, but in the film, she has to leave, and she has to live a life apparently of obscure life, and just imagine what she would go through.
Hmm.
And she's the one, and it also tells you in the end, you know, is a woman who has to pay the price, and that's what Anarkali does. She pays the price for it. Salim thereafter may go and become the king and have more wives and all that, but when it comes to her, she's given up everything for love. So it's a very strong, powerful woman voice in Mughal Azam.
Do you think between Salim and Anarkali, who was more in love with the other? The one who sacrificed?
No, it's not like that. He also gave a lot. He was ready to die.
Hmm.
If you know that he said, I'm not giving Anarkali, he was going to be usko bombed out.
Ah.
Yeah. So, no, I think both of them were ready to pay a price because love extracts a price. You don't think that love is going to come without a price. If you think it's going to come without a price, I don't know about that love.
There's a dialogue ना कि ये हिंदुस्तान है जिस पे आप हुकूमत कर सके, something like that.
Yeah. मेरा दिल भी आपका हिंदुस्तान नहीं जिस पर आप हुकूमत कर सके. Yeah.
How powerful is
Yeah,
this?
every dialogue is
all
like
the all the dialogue.
Incredible.
Yeah. बहुत dialogue. वो ही बोलता है ना कि एक जगह वो बोलता है कि क्या मेरी वो कहता है कि जिंदगी मुझे मिले उसके मालिक आप हो, सांसें मेरी हो और दिल की धड़कनों पर कब्जा आपका रहे. So these actually Mughal Azam is literature. It's such powerful lines.
It really, really is. Now we're circling back to अब तो आपको गाना पड़ेगा. अब हमने प्यार की इतनी बातें कर ली है,
yes, of course,
तो
of
फिर
course.
प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, तो गाना पड़ेगा.
Yes, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. छुप ना सकेगा इश्क हमारा, चारों तरफ है उनका नजारा. पर्दा नहीं जब कोई खुदा से, पर्दा नहीं जब कोई खुदा से, बंदों से पर्दा करना क्या, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या. प्यार किया कोई चोरी नहीं की, छुप छुप आहें भरना क्या, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
the fact that you sing this live while dancing and acting, मतलब पता नहीं कैसे ही करते हो आप लोग.
वो एक स्टेज की अलग एनर्जी एंड ऑडियंस इतना प्यार दे रही होती है आपको सामने से कि देन यू हैव टू गिव इट बैक टू देम. तो वो शो करते टाइम जो एक ओवरऑल एनर्जी होती है ऑडिटोरियम की, वो दैट इज समथिंग एल्स. इट्स वेरी डिवाइन एंड इट टेक्स यू थ्रू.
Yeah, because you know the
Yeah.
amount of stamina one needs
yeah.
to last on stage and to sing, and singing while dancing and to have breath control is tough.
Yeah, it is challenging, of course. Was.
मतलब
In
मुझे
fact, nowadays, if you see even big singers who come to India like Justin Bieber or all, they just give, it's called
Lip
plus
sync,
one. They just
yeah.
give lip sync. They don't even sing because it's a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
To sing live, you need to be fit. You need to make sure that, you know, and also acting, singing, dancing. It's a very special skill to get an anarkali, or for that matter, to get anybody who can sing, dance, who can act. Uh, it's very very difficult.
How do you cast everyone? ये तो मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है this must have taken so long to find just what 150 200 people?
No, I mean, these are all
Pivotal
150 to
characters
yeah.
aside.
These are all the there's a lot of backstage work and all that. So yes, I mean, we did go through a casting process. It's very interesting. Many a times they just land up. It's quite organic. The word spreads, and people come to know. But then there's also a lot of people who come wanting to get the result without the process, because a lot of people who don't know theater, they feel that they want the fame and the glory of playing an Anarkali or Salim, but they feel they can do it without doing any hard work. Now, unfortunately, there are no shortcuts in theater. You've got to work hard. You have to be diligent. You need to be disciplined. If you are not anything of that, please don't come anywhere close to theater. This is not like your 10-second, 20-second reel that you make and you feel that it's going to work. I'm very sorry, it's not going to
No
happen.
influencers were harmed.
No. I mean, I remember there was a show that we were doing. There's a show we used to do, Farhan and me together. It was about violence against women,
Hmm.
and the great show we used to do it every year. It was called Lalkar,
Hmm.
and in one of the, I think, shows, one of the guys there, creative fellow, he had seen some girls who were very good on these reels,
Instagram, yeah.
and they had some 2 million followers, all that. तो उन्होंने कहा "हाँ, बहुत अच्छा है उनका." They got them on stage. They were a disaster because it's a very different medium. When you do this cuts and 10 seconds and 20 seconds, it's a different world. And also, if you need to do in theater, you need to rehearse for that, those long hours, all right. And you have to at times stay away from your telephone for a couple of hours, and staying away from a telephone even for 2 minutes now, it's a huge achievement. I mean, it's they just can't. I mean, sometimes I feel that a time will come that they will do some intravenous thing also, called a signal that will go straight into your eye and brain, because that's what you are now. For them to be told for 3 hours, 4 hours, uh, I'm very disliked in theater, is because I'm still slightly old school,
Hmm.
that your instrument should be off, your things should be done, you need to sort of concentrate, and so concentration, that word doesn't exist in their vocabulary. So where do I get them to do that? So all those who cannot stay away from the telephone should stay away from theater.
लव इट क्योंकि एडिट नहीं संभाल सकता ना इधर.
नहीं, कुछ नहीं, आप गए, मतलब एक स्प्लिट सेकंड भी अगर आप हुए तो आपका डायलॉग चला गया, आपका टाइमिंग चला गया, एवरीथिंग
Everything
इज
is so naked there,
yeah,
right?
yeah, you're
Yeah.
completely, as an actor you are completely bare. And उसके अलावा टाइमिंग भी होता है ना, अगर जरा सा यहाँ से वहाँ अगर हो गया आपका, तो आप तो गए काम से. एंड it's not just that, it's also the discipline,
Hmm.
to hours and hours of hard work, you know and then just those shows that happen, and even the shows, and these are heavy costumes, and there's a lot of light, there's a lot of technical stuff that with which you need to deal with, and traveling, and so on and so forth. Like we did a tour, 3.5 month tour of Mughal Azam in US. Now that was very tough, because 3.5 months together, staying together, living together, performing together, can be very very tough. And I told my team before leaving, I said, either you will come back broken, or you'll come back bonding for life. Those are
Hmm.
the two things that are going to happen. Either you'll spread litter, or you'll spread
Joy.
fragrance. Fragrance,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what you're going to do. So your choice it is. So, but we were very lucky. 3.5 months, they they have memories of lifetime.
I can
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, the
I can
memories of
imagine.
lifetime. Yeah.
Has there ever been like a major faux pas that was just you could not recover from?
Uh,
Like any funny incident that comes to mind? What 22 odd seasons, so many years?
Actually, there have been a couple of times, but at the moment I really can't recall, because what happens, unlike film, where I've shot the film and that's it, and Anarkali is going to look like that all life. But when it comes to theater, every show is the same experience as the first show, because anything can go wrong. The lights cannot come on time, the music can go wrong, the tracks may not play, the projections may not come, the sets, the technology, the motors may. It's like it's really the same like the first show. So there is no luxury to sit back and say, you know what,
We've
we
mastered it
that
now.
we got it. In US, I think what happened was really quite stunning. That the two platforms that we have on stage, they got derailed. Now, how do we get it back on stage uh, without the guys who are doing it to be seen? So our people, 10 of them, got behind it and they were holding. And as there were some changes going on, they've got dhire, 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 and they put in everything together there.
Oh
That
God.
was the most nerve shattering experience, because if that didn't come on track, most of our other show would go for a toss, because they are dancing there, there are scenes there, the platform, if you see in our platform,
Yeah.
is split into two. So all these things were happening, and the show was sort of going on. There are many other things. Sometimes the cue doesn't come. There are times where, as she's singing, she's got
Lump in her
a
throat.
cough or something like that. She has to sort of deal with. So little things that have happened, but nothing that has happened which is recognizable to the audience,
Hmm.
which is quite special, that the audience hasn't detected.
Picked it up.
Now, yeah, picked up. There have been times where, like for example, there was an actor who all of a sudden couldn't memorize his lines. The main guy who does the narration, called the Santarash.
Santarash.
तो संतराश जो है, उसकी याददाश्त जो है खराब होने लगी। तो अब उसको कुछ याद ही नहीं रहता था। संतराश को याद नहीं रहेगा, तो मुग़ल आज़म का क्या होगा? तो फिर उसके साथ में कुछ एक्सरसाइजिंग करनी पड़ी मुझे। आई हैड टू गिव हिम certain tricks of the trade and certain exercises, for memory exercises, and then he came back on track. Luckily, we have two,
Yeah.
so he had to sit down for a period of time. So these kind of things happen. अपना सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हमेशा हमें डर रहता है, इसीलिए we always have two together, is अनारकली। कभी इनका गला बैठ गया तो।
मैं पूछने ही वाली थी कि मतलब अनफोर्सीन इवेंट में जब आवाज को आप कंट्रोल कैसे कर सकते हो? हो गई खराब तो क्या
बिल्कुल भी
करोगे?
आपके हाथ के मतलब बस में नहीं है आपके।
हाँ।
बट टचवुड अभी तक इतने शोज़ में किसी के भी साथ ऐसा हुआ नहीं है।
अरे हुआ नहीं है, बट
या,
इसीलिए हमने दो रखा है।
या।
और एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग हुआ था, दिस यू मस्ट नो, वही संतराश का, कि हमारा ये संतराश था, उसको ऑल ऑफ अ सडन ही गॉट अ चेस्ट पेन, एंड ही गॉट अ काइंड ऑफ नॉट अ अटैक और एनीथिंग, बट ही गॉट पैनिक अटैक, सो ही कुडंट गो फॉरवर्ड। सो अपना एक हाफ में एक संतराश था, दूसरे हाफ में दूसरा संतराश था। अभी अनारकली भी हो सकती है, अभी सलीम भी हो सकता है, पॉसिबल है, बट अभी तक ऐसा हुआ नहीं है।
टचवुड।
मैं समझता हूँ एक बार अनारकली को 2-2 सलीम मिल जाए, तो उनकी भी ख्वाहिश पूरी हो जाए कि भाई हमको 1 नहीं 2-2
एक
सलीम मिले।
नहीं। बट आप अपना कॉर्टिसोल कैसे कंट्रोल करके रखते हैं सर? ये
हाँ,
सब जब चल रहा होता है, हाउ डू यू कीप योर कॉर्टिसोल लेवल्स इन कंट्रोल एंड
क्या
एंग्जायटी
करें?
लेवल्स इन
देखिए,
कंट्रोल?
हालात इंसान को जो है इंसान बनाता है। तो हालात ऐसे होते हैं जब आपके व्हेन इट्स बियॉन्ड योर कंट्रोल, द ओनली थिंग यू कैन डू इज़ स्टे काम।
एंड जस्ट
Whatever,
सरेंडर टू द
yeah. No,
प्रोसेस।
because when things are in something that you can control, that's why जो हमारा है ना, यदा वो कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन। I think Mahabharat, Gita has described it very beautifully. आप काम करते रहो, and just be an observer. So I think you start doing that. But within your control, you got to do everything possible. But beyond your control, the best thing to do is stay calm. Because if you panic, then that gets worse. And that's
I'm sure.
easily said than done, by the way.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
ever panicked as an Arcady?
Always. I mean, like being on stage itself, it gives you something, you know.
Yeah.
But something that you love doing. I've always loved being on stage, like as a singer, as whatever. Like, और अब तो as an actor भी तो of course पहले 2-3 shows में तो बहुत कुछ कुछ हो
Butterflies.
रहा था.
हाँ.
बट देन सर ने एक्चुअली इतना फेथ दिखाया कि उनके फेथ पे फेथ रखना बहुत जरूरी था मेरे लिए. एंड बट इट वर्कड. और बहुत सारी टेक्निक्स भी इनफैक्ट सर ने बताई थी, टू हाउ टू कीप योरसेल्फ काम एंड ऑल. So we were exercising all those things and it really, really helped.
हाउ डज वन मैनेज लॉजिस्टिक्स? मतलब इतने सारे लोगों के साथ, ये तो अलग ही लेवल का काम है। मैं ऐसी सोच रही थी, इतना कुछ आपको कुछ पता नहीं कितने तो कॉस्ट्यूम्स है, सो ब्यूटीफुली डिजाइन्ड, आई बिलीव बाय मनीष मल्होत्रा, and just that's what I'm saying. Like when you see everything together, I cannot fathom how you guys manage to pull it off each time.
I mean, if you've seen what we did in the US, it's unbelievable. Like, for example, we were traveling once for 2,400 kilometers across in the US. एक जगह हमने शो किया, उसके बाद में नेक्स्ट शो जो था 2,450 किलोमीटर, एंड दो तीन तीन ड्राइवर्स रखे थे, एंड वी यूज्ड टू कैरी सम अबाउट 855 feet containers, 855 feet
Wow.
containers, जिसमें पूरा सेट यू साउंड, so we used to set up everything in 2 to 3 days. We have to set up the whole thing in theater, and then for them to travel from one place to the other, all of us have to travel also, but for these 55 feet containers, 8 of them to travel those long distances, and then to
Yeah.
reach in time there, and then to do no those how we managed in US is I mean, this is the only time you start becoming religious. या दिस ओनली टाइम जो है आपको लगता है कि ये तो सिर्फ कोई ऊपर वाला ही से बचा सकता है, हमारे से तो होगा नहीं, बट हो जाता है। देयर समथिंग दैट इज देयर,
हाँ.
यू नो, सम डिवाइन इंटरवेंशन। दैट्स व्हाई हम जब भी हमारा शो करते हैं तो उससे पहले गणेश को जो है याद करते हैं और
Hmm.
उससे प्रार्थना करते हैं कि भाई सब आप हमारा संभाल लेना। हमारे यहाँ
Hmm.
शो के पहले अपना गणेश प्रार्थना होती है, हमारी हम आरती करते हैं,
कुछ विघ्न ना आए
हाँ,
बीच
कि
में।
कुछ ना है, कि गणेश जो है सब बचा ले। तो गणेश बचा रहे हैं हमको अभी तक।
Hmm. नहीं मतलब ऑब्वियसली अभी तो इतने सालों से चल रहा है,
हुँ।
बट
तो
मुझ
गणेश भी बहुत सालों से गणेश जी लेटेस्ट नहीं है, गणेश जी भी हज़ारों साल से है। तो गणेश जी ने ऐसे बहुत शोज़ देखे हैं, मुग़ल ए आज़म से भी बड़े-बड़े शोज़
हाँ,
देखे हैं, तो उन्होंने कहा है कि तो गणेश जी का आशीर्वाद है, उससे हमारा
ये तो
चलते
मतलब
रहता
वो
है।
ऐसे कर देते हैं।
हाँ, उनके लिए तो
हाँ.
वो छोटी-सी बात है।
सर मुझे एक बात बताओ, मतलब ये जो अभी आपने बोला कि आप दिल्ली के शोज में लॉस मेक करते हो, आप मुझे थोड़ी इसकी मैथ समझाओ, ये
नहीं, मैं
कैसे
आपकी
चल रहा
मैथ
है?
आपको मैं शो पे नहीं समझा सकता
अच्छा,
हूँ, मैं आपको अलग से
ऑफ
समझाऊँगा।
कैमरा।
ऑफ कैमरा मैं आपको समझाऊँगा, नहीं तो आप कैमरा ही कहीं कोलैप्स ना हो जाए, तो इसीलिए मैं नहीं चाहता हूँ कि आप अपने ही शो पे कोलैप्स हो जाएँ, वरना दैट वुड बी बिग न्यूज़।
No, of course. But of course, I'm very excited to see it again. And I think one of the things that I genuinely look forward to are those incredible formations
यस।
that the dancers do.
Yeah.
तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है उसका कोई भी व्यू आप देखोगे तो वो आपको incredible लगेगा। मतलब इसमें कोरियोग्राफी का भी इतना बड़ा
इस
हाथ है।
इस इस शो का अगर कोई स्टार है, तो वो है मयूरी उपाध्याय,
Yeah.
the choreographer. She is the true star of the show. It's her work that really stands out. And the best thing about her work is that it doesn't stay like that. It only gets better. तो अगर आप देखेंगे अब दिल्ली में, तो आपको पहले से ज़्यादा बेहतर शो दिखाई देगा। उसमें कोई कमी नहीं होगा, कोई इज़ाफ़ा ज़रा भी नहीं होता है उसमें।
हम्म,
तो वो उसमें मतलब इज़ाफ़ा ही होता है, उसमें बढ़ते ही जाता है। हमेशा जो भी मयूरी काम करती हैं, इस प्ले को लेकर ही नहीं, सिर्फ जो भी, और हमारा काफ़ी कोलैबोरेशन रहा है दूसरी चीज़ों में भी। शी इज़ ऑफ अ वेरी डिफरेंट लेवल, एंड शी इज़ कमिटेड, पैशनेटली कमिटेड टू प्रैक्टिसिंग हर आर्ट एंड क्राफ्ट। तो इस बार भी जो ट्रेनिंग कब से शुरू होगी, दिल्ली में ऑलरेडी हमारी लड़कियां ट्रेन कर रही हैं। So
हम्म।
when we're coming, because this is a 300 show, this is the last shows we ever going to do in Delhi of Mughal Azam for a long time to
Oh
come.
wow,
Yeah, yeah,
lucky
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
That's right. तो
Just in time.
तो इसीलिए वो जो ट्रेनिंग हो रही है उसकी is to give you perhaps the best
Most
show
fine
possible, the best
experience.
version of Mughal Azam, and you in Delhi are more fortunate than any other place in the world because we have this very big stage there.
Hmm.
सो हमारा जो स्टेज जो साइज़ है, अगर आप यहाँ देखेंगे मुंबई में, तो थोड़ा आपको कम दिखाई देगा। लेकिन यहाँ जो है 60 फुट की ओपनिंग है हमारी, तो आप जो शो देख रही हैं, सबसे बड़ा दुनिया में अगर जो शो होता है वो दिल्ली में होता है। और उसलिए हमारी जो मयूरी है वो हमेशा मुझसे उनका चलते रहता है, शी नीड्स मोर डांसर्स, मोर डांसर्स, मोर डांसर्स।
To fill up that space, I
She
imagine.
she
Yeah.
needs to, because when you have such a huge space, she needs to get, naturally scale भी बढ़ता है ना उससे।
Hmm.
So we keep having those conversations. So I can say without any hesitation that if there is a star of Mughal Azam, it is Mayuri Upadhyay.
No, of course, I think Mayuri is clearly an instrumental part of this very fantastic production. And, you know, I appreciate you complimenting her. What is the best compliment you have received and from whom?
The best compliment has been that I received was from the daughter of K. Asif Saab.
Wow.
She hugged me and she said that if Abu was alive, he would have hugged you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a massive
that's a massive
compliment.
con. To me, that was in many ways complete for me. I
Hmm.
felt that the reason we did this, all this hard work, was worth it. Because I don't think so that Mughal Azam play is anybody else but belongs to K. Asif. I'm just taking the legacy forward.
Hmm.
Mughal Azam, the play, will belong to K. Asif Saab. We have created a production in a different medium, but it is originally his creation. So I've taken that into a different medium and basically taking the legacy forward. And for somebody from the family to say that my father would have been so happy and proud of what you have done, that makes me very happy.
I would imagine so. I mean, it is a very burdensome legacy to carry, I would think, given the iconic nature of it. And as you said, you don't mess with people's memories.
No, you don't miss. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be like a very, very big responsibility.
I yeah, I mean, all along when I was doing, the only thing that I used to tell myself that I shouldn't let K. Asif Saab down because that was to me most important.
Hmm.
What would happen to me in my career that I can deal with it. But what will happen to the legacy of Mughal Azam if anything is less than what he had done? That would be a permanent damage. And I
Yeah,
didn't want to do that. Not just to the damaging the memories, but damaging what is purely a hugely a cultural experience. One of the greatest cultural experience
a
of this country
masterpiece.
is Mughal Azam. I
Yeah.
mean, I have not met anyone who has seen it once. And the other great joy that we see with this play now is three generations come and watch.
Hmm.
Recently, there was a girl, 8-year-old. She's a Kathak. She's learning Kathak.
Yeah.
So she came and saw the play. Her parents and then her parents. Just imagine three generations spending almost half a day together.
Yeah.
They don't even talk to each other much. But now three generations coming and watching something like Mughal Azam. I mean, that is something which is so heartwarming. And this time when they came, I took them backstage. I said, "Come, you meet." The youngest was very enthusiastic about
Yeah.
the Kathak dances that she's seen. So I took all the three generation backstage and made the artist and the dancers meet, and it was quite quite emotional.
I have come to see Mughal Azam with my grandmother also.
There you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did share this experience
yeah,
together.
yeah.
And that's the thing. It transcends generations.
It does.
That
Yeah,
emotion.
yeah.
Obviously she resonated with it, and I think because of the re-release in color, मैंने भी देखी थी वो, black and white तो खैर नहीं देखी थी,
Hmm.
but I think because story इतनी iconic है, तो आपने सुना, सबने सुना तो है ही इसके बारे में,
Correct,
but
correct.
then the fact that you know my grandmother, my mother, and my sister and I, we could see it together was
Well, yeah, that's very,
phenomenal.
very special. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
What has been your greatest learning curve through this process, both of you?
She's been very new, so she is very fresh in her.
Yeah.
Because this is my first ever theater in life, and doing something like Mughal Azam or Anarkali, तो मेरे ख्याल से अनारकली का जो कैरेक्टर है वो इट एक्चुअली स्टेड विथ मी फॉर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम बिकॉज हर स्टोरी वाज वेरी ट्रैजिक एज सर सेड एंड उसके कैरेक्टर को इतने सारे लेयर से फीलिंग हर पेन, द सेपरेशन, द डिफायंस दैट शी हैड शोन, वो सब चीज़ें मेरे ख्याल से एज अ वुमन आप बहुत रिलेट करते हो इन चीज़ों को, बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं लाइफ में आप ये सारी चीज़ें फेस करते आए हो
Hmm.
एंड तो फॉर मी इट वाज वेरी रिलेटेबल एंड मैं थोड़ा सा आपके पहले वाले क्वेश्चन में भी थोड़ा सा ऐड करूँगी बिकॉज इट वाज माय फर्स्ट एवर थिएटर एंड मेरा जो पहला शो था उसमें के आसिफ जी की डॉटर आई थी देखने
Hmm.
एंड इट कुडंट गेट बेटर, मतलब, एंड आई रिमेंबर शी वाज सिटिंग राइट बिसाइड माय पेरेंट्स. और उनको पता नहीं था कि मेरी मॉम बैठी है उनके पास, और उन्होंने जस्ट ऐसे ही नॉर्मल बोला कि जो अनारकली प्ले कर रही है, उनकी उर्दू बहुत अच्छी है।
Hmm.
एंड माय मॉम वाज़ लाइक, उन्होंने बाद में उनको बताया कि ना शी इज़ माय डॉटर। तो
Wow.
वो जब मम्मी ने मुझे बाद में पूरी स्टोरी बताई ना, आई वाज़ लिटरली इनटू टीयर्स कि मतलब अगर ऐसे लोगों से कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स आ रहे, तो आई डोंट थिंक कि इससे ज़्यादा कुछ और चाहिए आपको।
Of course.
सो आई गेस आई एम टेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ लव फ्रॉम दिस प्ले, और बहुत सारी लर्निंग्स है एज अ पर्सन, एज एन एक्टर, एज अ सिंगर। मतलब मैं सर को हमेशा बोलती हूँ, मेरा तो पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट हो गया है बेसिकली ये सब के बाद।
बहुतों का हुआ है आपके आसपास
Yeah,
एग्जैक्टली।
अभी
प्रीवियस अनारकलीज का
इतना
भी।
डेवलप करें कि हिंदुस्तान के शहंशाह को ना कह देंगे कभी कि
बिकॉज
प्यार
ऑल
किया तो
आर्ट
डरना
फॉर्म्स।
क्या। ये जरा जरा थोड़ा सा वो रहिएगा, हिंदुस्तान के शहंशाह को कभी मत बोलना आप, ये सारी चीजें।
सर आप बताओ, व्हाट हैज बीन योर ग्रेटेस्ट लर्निंग कर्व थ्रू दिस प्रोसेस?
uh, actually I don't sit and analyze anything of that kind. I think I haven't come to that stage to sit and say कि मुझे क्या इसमें सीखने मिला, क्या करने लगा, because we are so much in the survival mode
Hmm.
that contemplation is not
Is a luxury.
yeah, I mean, it's a luxury. So contemplation is a luxury that we don't have. Basically what we do is that we are constantly into problem solving.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the problem with the actors? So we solve that problem. We solve technical problem. We solve, HR problems, as you would say. Okay, we try and get the bottom line,
Yeah. Yeah.
in place,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. So these are logistics and creative problems that come up. So you're constantly into problem solving.
Hmm.
You don't sit and say कि मुझे क्या सीखने मिला and all that. I think that also draws too much attention to yourself. अब तो हो रहा है, कर रहे हैं, तकलीफें आई है, उसको हमने फेस कर दिया या कुछ सोल्यूशन लेकर आए उसका। I think this would be much later in my life when I'll sit back and bore the pants out of the younger generation, say हमारे ज़माने में हम ये करते थे और हमारा ये हुआ था, you know.
Hmm.
So I have not reached that stage where uh, I can sit and do all this
Fair enough.
introspection.
And I hope that for a very long time you don't reach that stage, because it means that you're continuously doing this and problem solving.
No, you
And
become
I
you
appreciate
become
that.
you become too conscious about yourself, and you start thinking you're important. I think the work that we do is more important than us. So this kind of a reflection, at least I haven't done up till now.
Yeah, and the art has to be bigger than the artist, I feel.
Has to be. That's
Yeah.
why every time, and that's the reason that one of the things that I feel, if you ask me, not a learning, but I think has uh, what has been instructive is that when everybody believes that they're doing something bigger than them, then they are all focused. Then
Hmm.
their own personal little things
Yeah.
get evaporated. So they don't, their little personal concerns don't become the irritants in trying to do something big. They all believe that what they're doing is something much, much bigger than all of us together.
Yeah, because you work as a collective then.
That's the focus.
Yeah.
It's like, in corporate, when you give them an idea, a vision, as you would call it, that vision of what you're creating is much bigger than your little personal, issues and problems. I think those little issues and problems that would happen normally get solved by its own because they believe that they are doing something very big. And when audiences like you say these kind of things to us, that you've seen it 3 times, you've seen it with two generation, and how much you have liked, and how much you as an audience feel proud that as an Indian we've been able to create something like this. So when you
Yeah.
do all those things, I suppose everyone feels very charged, and that's the greatest thing. I think the greatest HR thing would be that you actually believe that we are doing something bigger than who we are.
No, 100%. I think that's what I'm saying. I think when you
I
work,
mean, the corporate HR try to do it to save costs, but I would say in us, it's not like that.
you do it. I don't think you can achieve that level of magnificence without operating as a collective that only thinks for the greater good.
And also that each one in this production feels equal. So we may be doing different jobs, but we are not different human beings. One of the problems that we face here is that we feel that the job the person does is a human being he she is. That's not true. You may be doing different jobs according to your circumstances, skill, and some luck. But that doesn't mean that I treat the person that you are that person. No, you may be doing different jobs. So in our team, the person who is supposedly doing the smallest jobs gets equal respect and maybe more. But that's the mantra we have, is that that person, leave a guy who gives us a cup of tea or a glass of water, to us is as important as Anarkali. So they all eat together, they all be together. So there is that kind of a utopia in action, actually,
Hmm.
what you would call a utopia, but for us, we've actually managed to make it real. And that is why everyone feels, because people not just live, as they say, on bread, they live for something more. And dignity is extremely important. So I think in our group, in our company, that's why everyone wants to keep coming back again and again. You know, we really have to say no to a lot of people because they know the kind of culture
Respect.
that we have.
Yeah.
And more importantly, about the way we have made it very clear is how the woman should be treated. That this has to be a workplace where the woman feels, in fact, more empowered than the men. And that's what we have created also. So it's all that I think makes this, what you see on stage is reflected also what is happening backstage.
Hmm. No, I can definitely foresee that. And as you said, मतलब भूख सिर्फ खाने की नहीं होती, आपको इज्जत सम्मान की भी होती है. So if you're well treated,
We have to, we have to,
yeah.
and somewhere in and somewhere we have made this thing due to years of our systems that we've had, the caste system and so on and so forth, in which we have defined the people from the work that they do.
Hmm.
No, we can't do. Not they're doing that job, but they're equal human beings, and I think that's what is very important. And all that happens backstage pushes us on the stage also. So those values are reflected all around us. Yeah, we don't have separate food for an actor. Anarkali has, and we the one thing we don't have, we have no time for anybody's tantrums. Also, we are very clear about that. Yeah, no, nothing of that sort.
Yeah.
You've got to be real.
तभी सर इन्फ्लुएंसर्स के साथ तो नहीं कर सकते आप काम मुझे नहीं लग रहा उनका टिकेगा
हाँ,
आपके साथ जो इन्फ्लुएंसर्स है वो तो नहीं टिक सकते फिर
नहीं
आपके
उस
साथ
वो भाई इन्फ्लुएंसर्स करते हैं, इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का अपना काम है, दे इन्फ्लुएंस, दे डू देयर जॉब्स, बट आई मीन if we I can't be an influencer, so maybe it's possible that that if I want to be an influencer, I need to get trained for that, right?
हम्म
I can't just land up one day and say कि आज से मैं influencer बन जाऊंगा. The same way, if you want to be an actor on stage, you come and you train yourself.
yeah
When you train, then there's a possibility that you'd be good.
and you come sans the tantrums
हाँ, no tantrum तो खैर हमारे यहाँ उसके लिए कोई in our no, nothing of that. So attitude, because we believe that attitude decides your altitude. It's very
very
clear.
well said
Yeah,
attitude decides your
your
altitude
altitude. So
yeah
if you come with an attitude, we know it's not good for them.
hmm.
Yeah, because also, I mean, uh, which I keep very clearly in my head, that nothing feels like success. It doesn't. Because the moment you get successful, the first thing is the next thing is that you are on your way to becoming a failure if you believe that success is the only yardstick. The
Hmm.
only yardstick is excellence, not success. Because if you are pursuing excellence, you may fail, you will know how to get up. But if you're only pursuing success, once you fail, you will only get into depression.
Hmm. Wow, so much knowledge I'm getting apart from, of course, the love existentialism that you've given me in
अभी
this
आपने इतना
podcast.
बुलाया है तो, और जब से आपने कहा है कि यू आर बेसिकली फाइनेंस पर्सन, तो
Yeah.
फिर आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट यू नीड टू गेट वैल्यू फॉर मनी फॉर the time that you're spending and coming from Delhi, and wearing such beautiful clothes. तो अभी आपको कुछ तो हमारी तरफ से तो चाहिए. So I'm very cognizant, and good you told me that you're from finance, so I can understand what I need to deliver.
I appreciate it. I definitely, this is
Yeah.
high ROI conversation.
ROI is very, very important, not PE, okay?
Yeah, not P.
Not valuations.
No, only bottom line.
We are talking about values, not
Yeah,
valuations, right?
yeah,
That's it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Sir, you mentioned abhi ke you were complimented on your Urdu, and I have to admit my ignorance ke even a word like Santaraj, मुझे उसका meaning ही आपका play देख के समझ आया है. Why did you decide to kind of stick to definitely, let's say, the authentic originality of even the dialogue? Did you ever feel like you wanted to maybe make it a little bit easier? Because not everyone today understands that sort of nomenclature.
Yeah, so we have used, we got a solution for that, is that we've got a running translation in English, and that's a very good translation. It's not a, what you call just a literal translation, it's a translated by a playwright. So it's a very good translation. The thing is that a language has a rhythm, a language has a texture, a language, is basically resides in a certain kind of literature. Now, when you start tempering with it, it affects. And language is also sound. Like if you hear some of the classical languages, when you just hear the Sanskrit mantra, you may not understand it, and yet it affects you because the way language is constructed, it constructed very, very beautifully. It's a language is thousands of years of culture expressed through words.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Because before language, we had only sounds. Okay. In fact, one of the problem with language is that language has taken away deep expressions. Because now I can say things in a language but not mean at all. In fact, today language is used more to lie than to say the truth. And in fact, language is more powerful in lies than they are in truth. You can be fantastic. You can lie so beautifully in language. But anyway, I'm digressing. The thing is that we needed to keep the language the way it is, to keep its beauty, its authenticity, because if I have to replace that, then I have to replace with something as beautiful. I cannot find anything more beautiful than what already there is.
Yeah.
So you don't replace something just for communication. There's much more than communication. And the thing is that you do get the gist of it anyway.
100%.
Yeah. So if it
Yeah.
was, if it was doing in, say, if I was doing a play in Pali, or if I'm doing in Prakrit, that kind of classical language which don't exist anymore, then I can understand, which we don't do. So you do in Hindi, right? So in the same way, if the play is written in a certain way, because this is almost literature, what you have in Urdu. So even if you don't understand, like you go to मुशायराज और आप गज़लें सुनती हैं, आपको कहाँ सारे लफ्ज़ उसमें,
नहीं, एसेंस
लेकिन
रह जाती है।
एसेंस आ जाता है आपका, तो इसमें वो सबको आ जाता है। ड्रामा क्या है वो समझ में आता है, और चूंकि आपके पास ट्रांसलेशन है तो उससे भी आपको फायदा होता है। ट्रांसलेशन में दो चार वर्ड, जैसे अभी आपने जो है, अब देखें, मुझे ऐसे लोग मिले हैं जो प्ले देख के कहते हैं कि अब हमको उर्दू सीखनी है। तो अगर मैंने उसको बिल्कुल वो कर दिया, बोलचाल की भाषा में डाल दिया, तो उससे उर्दू का नुकसान होगा ना।
और उर्दू तो बहुत ही खूबसूरत
कितनी खूबसूरत ज़बान है। तो लोग जो हैं वो इस प्ले को देखकर उनकी दिलचस्पी बढ़ रही है उर्दू ज़बान में, क्योंकि वो लग रहा है कि ये तहज़ीब, तमीज़, ये कल्चर कितना खूबसूरत है। तो हम भी उसका थोड़ा-सा लुत्फ़ उठाएँ। तो इसीलिए हम जो है, जैसी ज़बान है, मैं इससे बेहतर अगर नहीं कर सकता हूँ, तो फिर मुझे उसे नहीं करना चाहिए। अगर इससे बेहतर अगर ज़बान मेरे पास होती, तो मैं शायद करता, लेकिन मेरे पास नहीं है, तो फिर उसे ही बरकरार रखें हम।
So वैसे तो I don't want to end this conversation with both you and Kirti, but in the interest of time, I would like to ask you the one question that we ask all our guests, which is that from your busy schedules, how do the both of you unwind after us? How do you just relax? Because now you have your shows coming up as well in Delhi, which I am very excited for. तो आप chill करने के लिए क्या करते हो?
Well, music is the best thing that has happened to me, and when I'm not doing anything, I'm just listening to my go-to songs and my playlist.
Give me two go-to songs of yours.
Okay, so one is "Agar Tum Saath Ho" from the film Tamasha.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's a beautiful song. And the other is one ghazal that I've been listening to, "Saadgi To Hamari Zara Dekhiye." I'm
Beautiful.
loving that song.
गवाही दीजिए ना थोड़ा-सा।
क्या?
हाँ, गवाही दीजिए ना उनसे ज़रा कुछ।
गवाही दीजिए
मतलब गवा दीजिए, मतलब उससे कह दीजिए।
गवा दीजिए। I thought गवाही as in like
नहीं,
this.
गवाही अच्छा, आपकी उर्दू बहुत अच्छी होती जा रही है। मतलब आप जो हैं उर्दू के दायरे से बाहर निकल गई हैं। आपने अपना एक, नहीं, मैंने कहा कि वो बड़ी अच्छी गज़ल है। तो बहरहाल, व्हाट आई एक्चुअली डू इज़ आई मीट माय फ्रेंड्स। I call them up, and I want to spend as much time as I can with my friends.
What do you do when you hang out with your friends?
We have friends for, like, we've been friends for so many years. So, well, willy nilly we get back to our old memories, and and yeah, and all that is happening in our life, and we talk and we laugh and we eat, and it's joy, it's pure joy. And some of our friendships have been for that long, for so long, and not all of them are involved either with theater or anything of that sort. Some of them are in films and so on and so forth. But yes, I really enjoy hanging out with them or calling them up and having long chats.
Hmm.
Those are the
Sweet.
two things
I
that
think old friendships are so comforting.
oh, they're very comforting. Yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, there's something about it that also keeps you grounded.
Hmm.
You because you're uninhibited.
Hmm.
There is no inhibition. There is nothing. You are who you are. Neither is judging you, or neither are you judging anybody. And to find that space is a great thing.
Do men compliment each other? Do your male friends compliment you? I'm very curious.
Compliment in the sense,
कि आपने कुछ बहुत बढ़िया काम करा है, whether it's any of your
yeah,
sort of,
of course, absolutely.
and are they generous with their compliments? Some male
Generous,
friends
that
expressive?
depends on each person's condition in their life, because what happens is that each person, maybe somebody is very comfortable with somebody else's success. Somebody may not be, because of their own inability to either express or not being that successful. So it does happen from the condition they come, but it could be not. It's not like it's not a chorus. There is an individual voice to it.
Hmm.
So individuals will respond through also their individual condition. But by and large, yes, all of us are extremely supportive, complimentary, and I mean we do compliment each other for the work they do,
Hmm.
and it's not fake; it's real.
Hmm.
And at times we also are quite blunt and frank also, which is also a very good part of a relationship.
I mean, that is the truest friendship, no?
Yeah,
If
and
you
not
can be
not
honest.
because there's some people who are so big and they've got such big names that the only thing they meet in their life is sycophants. And the sycophancy and sycophants are the worst thing that can happen to you, not to the sycophant, because the sycophant knows what he or she is doing, but the person receiving is a man or a woman going mad.
Hmm.
So that's why so they are all, most of them, so they don't, many a time they don't even know the reality, because the sycophants have created a reality for themselves. So I think when we are amongst friends, we are friends. So no matter who you are, how big you are, how rich you are, how famous you are, doesn't matter, because our yardstick and our relationship goes back to when we were friends, when there was nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody was anything. Nobody else. We were all looking at life, not knowing tomorrow. We didn't even care about tomorrow. That's how all our friends were. So when we meet together, it's as if there is no tomorrow.
Hmm.
There is nothing to be judged or be concerned about. It's just a lot of laughter, a lot of fun together. So I look forward to that.
Kirti and sir, we're going to play one last game with you. And it's called Kya Golmol Kare. I'm going to give you scenarios from Mughal Azam. And it's a slightly different take. And I would like your opinion on what you would do in that situation. Salim and Anarkali have been caught in a viral Instagram controversy. This is modern day Salim and Anarkali, okay? And Akbar has blocked Anarkali. मुझे बिल्कुल ही ये नहीं पसंद. एंड व्हाट शुड सलीम डू? वो क्या गोलमोल करे कि वो इस कंट्रोवर्सी से, इस सिचुएशन से निकल आए?
सबसे पहले वो अकबर को ब्लॉक कर दे, ठीक है?
ब्लॉक द
और
डैड.
बहुत दूसरी बात ये है कि जो कंट्रोवर्सी हो रही है उसको मुकम्मल कर दे, उसको कंफर्म कर दे कि हाँ ये सही है. क्या कंट्रोवर्सी हो सकती है? दे बीन कॉट किसिंग ईच अदर. ओके, आई मीन
प्यार किया तो डरना क्या?
प्यार किया तो डरना क्या?
हाँ.
और कंट्रोवर्सी हो क्या, क्या हो, कंट्रोवर्सी में होता
करेक्ट.
क्या है?
हाँ.
ठीक है? और ही इज called her some names and she's
Yeah.
called him some names, or
Yeah.
they fought with each other. And if that controversy, if guy affected is Akbar, तो पहले तो अकबर को ब्लॉक कर दो.
Yeah.
और दूसरा कि कंट्रोवर्सी है ना, उसको पब्लिक में 2-3 बार और करके दिखाओ.
दिस इज
Now you
ट्रू
go,
डिफायंस.
that is
मतलब
to
ये नहीं
defy,
किया तो फिर क्या
this is
किया?
also good business.
या.
कि देखो आपने कहा कि ये कंट्रोवर्सी, ठीक है मैं कंफर्म कर देता हूँ. वो कहती है कि भाई मैंने उसे, आई मीन आई डोंट टू यूज सम लैंग्वेज, but he told him something, that you're not good in whatever you do. So now that's a controversy, correct? So she confirms, yes, well, I'm not good. So you could do whatever. Akbar doesn't like that. कि मेरा बेटा cannot be bad.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah.
प्यार किया तो डरना क्या?
Yeah.
हाँ, not good हुआ तो डरना क्या?
Yeah.
वो भी कोई
Rejection भी
problem
ले लो क्या है?
हाँ,
It's a
और क्या है?
part of love.
Yeah, it's a part of
Accepting
love.
rejection.
Yeah. ये so वो भी होगा.
Hmm.
And
Very,
so I feel that's the way it should be.
very cool. Akbar is the CEO of a billion-dollar empire. He wants an heir who can run the company, but Salim is busy watching reels.
Watching?
Reels.
Reels.
हाँ, हाँ.
क्या गोलमोल करे अकबर to get Salim to get to work?
This is a very, very difficult question.
और ये बहुत सारे बच्चों का हाल है.
He should hire Anarkali at work. Salim अपने आप आ जाएगा.
अरे क्या बात है! Ah,
Very
so
cool.
that's actually a very, very smart
Yeah.
smart
Productive.
move. The
Yeah.
productive move.
Yeah.
तो अपना
You know एक डायलॉग भी है, इसे अनारकली दे दो तो बेटा अपना हो जाएगा.
हाँ,
हाँ.
माँ बोलती है उसकी.
माँ
माँ बोलती है
तो
कि
she's
अपना
lying.
उसे अनारकली दे दो, सलीम अपना हो जाएगा. तो I think getting अनारकली and giving it to Salim, so he might actually increase the business from 2 billion to maybe couple of more $1 billion.
Yeah.
हाँ, और अगर नहीं दिया तो 2 बिलियन भी बर्बाद कर देगा.
Motivation है ना अब उसके पास.
मोटिवेशन
Exactly.
है और रिवर्स मोटिवेशन भी होगा कि अगर नहीं दिया तो 2 बिलियन बाप का बर्बाद कर देगा.
Fair enough.
Fantastic.
Anarkali is a contestant on Big Boss. She's about to win, but suddenly the producers decide to evict her. What Golmol think can Anarkali say to go viral and make the producers change their decision? कि नहीं भेजेंगे अनारकली को बाहर.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं बिग बॉस देखता नहीं हूँ.
हाँ, पर
तो
आपको
I'm
पता
out
तो
of
होगा उसके बारे
हाँ,
में.
लेकिन मुझे उसमें उसमें कोई कतई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है मुझे इस शो में.
Good to know. Same.
या
Same.
सो हाँ, तो मेरा कोई नहीं है. अब ये देखती होंगी तो
No sir.
नहीं देखती हैं तो एक्चुअली ये क्वेश्चन हमारे लिए
Applicable नहीं है.
एप्लीकेबल नहीं बिकॉज हम लोग बिग बॉस देखते
Follow ही
नहीं,
नहीं
फॉलो
करते.
नहीं करते. या
ठीक है. तो हमें
और
से किसी पास ही
हाँ,
जवाब
अगर
नहीं है.
अनारकली का एक जरा थोड़ा सा
Standard
उसको
है.
आप स्टैंडर्ड है उसको आप बिग बॉस में मत लाइए.
हाँ, ठीक है. Done.
Wow.
शुरू से ही मना कर दिया अनारकली तो फिर
जाए ही
no
ना
हाँ,
Big
जाए-
Boss
no
में.
yeah.
fear
तो ये
of
सब-
getting
नहीं
evicted also.
उसको इसमें मत लाइए.
हाँ, ठीक है. Done. Akbar has made a new rule and someone has turned it into a meme. Now it's trending on Instagram. क्या गोलमोल करे अकबर to get away with it?
What's a meme? मतलब
Sir,
what is it that's going on as a
उन्होंने
meme?
अब कुछ एक नया लॉ निकाला है और किसी ने उसका कुछ फनी बना
कुछ
के
जोक बना के वो
जोक
viral
बना के वायरल कर दिया
है.
इंटरनेट पे एज अ मीम.
हम्म.
मीम तो पता होगा
नहीं, मीम
आपको.
तो मुझे पता है लेकिन
हाँ.
किस चीज का मैं वो सोच रहा हूँ.
सोचो
law
ना
का.
इमेजिनरी
अच्छा,
है
वो
कोई भी
imaginary
जजमेंट
किसी
का
चीज पे
और अब वो
उन्होंने-
वायरल हो गया है
हाँ हाँ.
तो वो क्या करे कि ही कैन गेट अवे विद इट कि लोग उसको अथॉरिटी को चैलेंज ना करें बिकॉज अब तो वो जोक बन गया.
Basically he should use all his power to basically अपना block it on the whatever
As most people do.
as most people do, to use all his power
Actually
to
नए
to make sure that कि ये और अगर नहीं है तो वो पूरा जिस प्लेटफॉर्म पे आता है उसको खरीद लें और क्या.
हाँ.
सिंपल एज दैट.
As
या
most people
और
do.
जो प्लेटफॉर्म पे अगर मानेगा नहीं तो उसे सजाए मौत.
नहीं बट अगर
हम्म.
थोड़ा मॉडर्न डे अकबर है तो ही कैन बी लाइक बिट मोर ओपन माइंडेड कि ये सब तो चलता है अब. ठीक है.
नहीं बट वो कह रही है कि वो जो अकबर है, देखिए अगर अकबर बोला है तो चाहे वो किसी भी दौर में होगा उसकी मेंटालिटी तो वैसी है.
वही होगी. हाँ.
सही बात है. तो अकबर ने ये कहा कि आप एक जो अच्छी चीज़ मैं करना चाहता हूँ उसका आप इस तरीके से मजाक उड़ाते हैं तो एक काम करते हैं वो जिस मीडियम से होता है तो अच्छा जो शहंशाह होता है कि वो मीडियम जो है और मैसेंजर दोनों को ही बंद कर देता है.
नहीं
तो
तो सजाए मौत
आज
तो
का
है.
अकबर जो है वो मैसेज को और मीडियम को और मैसेंजर सबको ही बंद कर देगा. जो नहीं मानेगा उसके खिलाफ बहुत सारी एजेंसीज
बंद
हैं.
कर देगा कि खरीद लेगा.
पहले खरीदेगा
हम्म.
और जो नहीं खरीदेगा उसको बंद कर देगा. नहीं तो एजेंसीज हैं. नो प्रॉब्लम.
हम्म.
अकबर के पास भी
अकबर को
register-
क्या प्रॉब्लम?
हाँ,
अकबर को तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही
उसको
नहीं
कोई
होगी.
प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं.
कुछ
उसके
भी कर
पास सब
सकता
है.
है वो.
तो वो सारी जो है चीजें जो है वो उस पर वो कर देगा टिल इट एंश्योर कि कोई उसके बारे में देयर इज नो ट्रेस ऑफ दैट. Yeah, so he because Akbar है तो he can even delete memories also. क्यों नहीं कर सकता?
हाँ, कर सकते कुछ
वो
भी
कर
कर
सकता
सकते.
है. उसने एक डाल दिया आपका एक AI बग डाल दिया उसके अंदर AI लेके. तो जहाँ भी ये मेम के बारे में है तो जिस मीडियम पे है और फिर अगर बायोटेक्नोलॉजी इस्तेमाल करेगा तो अगर आपके दिमाग में भी है तो दिमाग में भी जाके आपकी मेमोरी जो है वो डिलीट कर सकता है.
अकबर कैन डू एनीथिंग.
अकबर कैन डू एनीथिंग. मॉडर्न अकबर जो है अगर आप कहते हैं तो उसके पास इतना सब कुछ है पावर कि वो कुछ भी कर सकता है.
Done. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kirti, for spending some time with us. It's been such an incredible chat. And of course, I'm seeing you very, very soon.
I know.
Yeah, so super, super excited for that. And thank you for bringing to life possibly one of the best things that I've seen come out of our country.
Thank you.
Thank you,
It's
Bani.
really,
Thank you so
it's been
much.
quite a pleasure
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Thank
Being
you.
here.
being here. Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
coming.
Thank
See you soon.
Yeah.
So before you go, we have a present for you.
I mean, one for
One for you and
one for each, na? I mean, so you're generous, right?
100%.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Oh, this is a lot of stuff
Yeah.
to carry. Yeah.
So I hope, Kirti, you also enjoy
Thank
some
you
of the
so much.
goodies.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you for your time again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bani.